Hey everybody, I'm Stephanie Bree. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a good Sunday. I wanted to make another video today. Today I'm talking about cars. If you read the headline, you know I love cars. Yes, that's true. I am a trans woman that's interested in automobiles. So I want to preface this by saying I'm not into race cars or racing. So I'm not going to talk about NASCAR or Formula One or anything of that nature. That's not to say I don't like racing as a concept. I do like race cars. I like fast cars. I love me a good Camaro or a Mustang or a Lamborghini. Oh yes, Lamborghini. Oh yeah. I just wanted to do a video talking about how much I love cars and my own personal experience with cars. So I wanted to start off by saying I love cars. So I am a Ford person. What that means is not that I'm not a cultist. I don't root for Ford. I don't pick Ford over other car companies, but I almost exclusively buy Ford, and that's because I've always exclusively bought Ford, and I've never had any problems with them. Not any more than your usual problems. I have had some non-Ford vehicles in the past, and it's not to say they had problems and the Ford vehicles didn't have. It's just that I have an affinity for Ford. I just happen to like Ford cars. So I have had multiple cars over the course of my lifetime. Too many for me to sit here and list them all. But some of the notable cars I can tell you I have had. My first car was a 1985 Ford LTD. And this was a short-lived car. I did not have it for very long. It was quickly replaced by a 1992 Mercury Tracer. Now, there's a story of how I got ownership of the Tracer, but I'm not going to tell that right now. That's another video for another day when I'm talking about car ownership. Some of the highlights. I've had a Geo Prism in the past. I've had a Ford Fusion, I've actually owned two different Ford Fusions. Neither of them were the hybrid versions, but I bought the Fusion because I was interested in a hybrid, but they didn't have a hybrid for sale at the dealership where I was, so I bought the 6-cylinder version. Yeah, the V6. No, it was a 4-cylinder. I think it was a 4-cylinder version. I can't remember actually, to tell you the truth. But I did buy a Ford Fusion, and then I've also owned a Cadillac in the past. I've owned multiple Ford LTDs, including a Crown Victoria, which was one of my favorite cars to drive. Thing was a beast, but wasn't quite a muscle car, but boy did it have horsepower. I'll tell you what, it had way more horsepower than any other vehicle I've ever owned. My Cadillac was pretty beefy too. It had a V8. Those are the only two vehicles I've ever owned that had a V8 engine. I had the Crown Victoria that had a V8. And that sucker was a monster, I'll tell you what. And then I also had the Cadillac had a V8. But it was one of the crappier V8. It was one of the crappier Fords. So, Mustangs. Why did I say Ford? God, I'm talking too fast. So, some of my experience with cars. My dad was a mechanic. And so he didn't own a shop, but he worked in a shop. And so I got to learn cars from my dad. I got to learn how to do work on cars, like oil changes and change the alternator, batteries, do spark plugs, things like that. I got to learn how to fiddle around with cars, do even engine tune-ups and stuff like that. I had a lot of fun working on cars with my dad. And then I went to work for Advance Auto Parts. This was right after college. I had just gotten out of college, and it was one of my not my first, but one of my first jobs out of college. I went to work as a mobile parts pro for Advance Auto Parts. This was a delivery driver position and a sales position, commercial sales, commercial auto. So I got to get hands-on with car parts, selling car parts, and to car dealerships and shops and places like that. So I got a lot of hands-on experience with cars. And then there is my love for Hot Wheels. I have a massive Hot Wheels collection. I probably have, by last count, I have over 300 actual Hot Wheels cars and counting, because I keep buying more Hot Wheels. In fact, I have a Hot Wheels car right here that I keep on my computer desk. This is it's Bubble-matic. I don't know if you can see that. It's basically, you can blow bubbles through this little ring, and it's a cute little toy car. But I also like realistic Hot Wheels, and I also buy Matchbox cars. I also buy Johnny Lightning cars, and I also buy John Deere miniature cars as well. So those are some of the ones that I buy. Buy a little bit of everything. I love cars. When I worked at the newspaper, I was given the opportunity to photograph multiple car shows, and I always loved going to the car show and photographing cars. It was always like my favorite thing to do. I liked it even more than photographing sports. It was so cool to get to go photograph all the different vehicles, and especially the ones who won prizes at the car show. I always got to photograph them as well and publish those photos. Oh, it was so exciting. And I actually knew people because it was a small town, I knew some of the contestants who entered cars. So I actually got to ride in some of these cars after the car shows, which was kind of neat. That was always kind of neat. So why am I talking about cars? Well, you see, I'm a trans woman, and so I have a lot of interests, some that would be considered stereotypically female interests, like, hair, makeup, dancing, things like that. And then I have interests that are stereotypically masculine, like automobiles and sports, for example. Of course, sports can be feminine as well, depending upon the sport, and cars can be enjoyed by women as well. I knew a lot of girls at car shows who were interested in cars, who were interested in automobiles. Trucks, too. Although I'm not a truck person, to be honest with you. I'm actually pretty anti-truck. Not that I'm like, oh, I have a problem with trucks. It's just more of I see trucks. Okay, I like and respect trucks, like especially commercial trucks. I see them as commercial vehicles. So if you're going to own a truck, you should probably either be a farmer or construction worker, or you should be a long-haul trucker. Something of that, you should be hauling stuff with it. That's how I see trucks. Trucks are good. I love trucks, but I want my trucks to be commercial vehicles. I don't like seeing people, regular citizens, regular residents of my state, driving around in pickup trucks. I don't like pickup trucks, but that's just me. That's just me. I don't like pickup trucks. I've never owned a pickup truck. I can't say I've never driven one. I have. I've had to for work. I've had multiple jobs where that was part of the job. I never cared for it. I never liked it. I like cars. I also like vans, but vans to me are, well, depending, if it's like an SUV, it's more like a car, and if it's like a full-size van, it is kind of like a truck in a way. I love vans as well. So I just wanted to talk about my love of cars. Some of my favorite cars. I like the Mustang. I like Mustang better than Camaro. Like I said, I'm a Ford girl. I love Ford. So I'm gonna say, yeah, I like Mustang. I like Cadillac. In fact, this is where, if you're gonna get into fangirlism, yeah, I like Cadillac. I think it's cool. I don't care for Lincoln. So between the two, I pick Cadillac over Lincoln. But on the other side, I pick Mustang over Camaro any damn day of the week. I love me a Mustang. Mustangs are beautiful cars. Camaros are just knockoffs, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I also like big expensive cars like the Lamborghini. Oh yeah, rev my engine. I want a good V12. I also like hybrid cars. I think they're kind of neat. Any car that has sufficiently advanced technology, I think, is neat. But I also just like good, strong. I like good, big, beefy muscle cars. Give me a car with a V8 any day. I want my cars to have horsepower in them. I'm not a car enthusiast. I'm not a car expert, so I can't sit here and name my favorite engines. I can't tell you anything about torque. I don't know the difference between a carburetor and a fuel injection. I know that there's a difference, but I couldn't tell you the difference between the two, because every time it's been explained to me, I just like throw my arms up. I'm like, it sounds like you just said the same words to describe both things. So I don't know. I literally don't know. I'm not all that knowledgeable about cars, but I love cars. And I mostly like passenger cars. I will say, like I said, I like fast cars. Um, but I also like high-tech cars. That's not to say, like for example, Tesla. That's not a car I'm all that enamored by. But I do like hybrids and I like electric cars for the most part. I think that's like the future of automobiles. And I would love to see more like electric Mustangs, more electric horsepower driven, like muscle cars. That's to me that's where the future is. That's where it's at. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about my love of cars. I don't really have anything else I can say about it other than let me know what are some of your favorite cars. Do you like pickups? And if so, why? I don't understand the appeal. You notice I didn't talk about motorcycles. Motorcycles are not necessarily, I mean, yeah, technically they're automobiles, but they're not cars. And I just wanted to talk about cars. Motorcycle is a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. Oh, yeah, you can rev my engine any day. Oh, dear. All right, that's enough of that. Thank you for watching. If you want to, please subscribe to my channel. Also, I would love it if you could leave a comment, leave a like, or a thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. If you want to support me, you can go to patreon.com/Stephanie Bree. That's BRI, just like it's spelled in the channel name. And yeah, stay cool.